was the cause of 3,000 people to join the church on Pentecost. It was because the church caught on fire. It's not my job to have a worship service by myself. What happened? Y'all didn't say that while ago. I finally said something y'all would say amen to. Everything I said a while ago was the truth too. Should have said something then too, because it's the truth. You don't want it to be the truth. My son said this morning, change. So, as the advice was given me the other night, I'll give out the 3 little Easter points to let y'all go to the house. Some folk come to church to leave trying to get in. Well, just so they can come in class and the teacher call roll and says, "Are you here?" "Yeah, I'm here. Now I'm ready to go." So let's see if we can make that happen. I read to you 2 passages of Scripture. James chapter 1, verse 2, where we have been for 3 weeks before today. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. And then in the book before that, Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews 12. Interesting, you may find that where I'm about to start starts with the same word in verse 3. If you know what I'm talking about, what's the word? Consider. Consider. Where did you just hear that from? James 1, verse 2. First word you saw was consider. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. In your struggle, against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. And have you completely forgotten this word of encouragement that addresses you as a father addresses his son? It says, "My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you." Possibly for the last week, why Christians can handle problems, part 4, is waiting problems. And part C of waiting problems deals with, after the introduction, these 2 things that just one can carry home. That means, I want to talk to you about being weary in the mind. M-I-N-D, being weary in the mind. And secondly, which is the third point, consider. Consider. And in parentheses, I'd like you to write down, consider what? Consider Jesus. The third point to think about this week is consider. Point one is our introduction, which what I want to tell you is we have been discussing for 3 weeks before today, count it all, what? Joy. My brothers and sisters, trials can be considered joy because God has this intention, his purpose for letting them come is to strengthen us, not destroy us. If you don't mind helping me say that, to strengthen us, not to destroy us. On the surface, they look like they've come to destroy us, diminish us, belittle us, down us, but we can consider them joy because the Lord has sent them that they might strengthen us. It takes, I tell you, a great amount of energy to endure, watch this word, passively. When one waits and when one practices faith, the kind of action that takes us involving ourselves in is being passively active. Passively active. To be still when you want to work. To want to help God out when God doesn't want your help. But when he wants our help, we don't want to help. Be still and know that I am God. Let me give you an example of this passive, active patience or faith. It is as if a person is having surgery with no anesthesia. Can you imagine? It's painful, it's torturous, isn't it? So many times it looks like God is putting us through surgery with no anesthesia. But it's not true. He's relieving the pain because he's helping us bear the pain. And so what happens is, while one is having this surgery, we are laying there under the knife deep cutting of a surgeon. The whole time what we're seeking to focus on is to lie there on the table and don't move. And don't scream. That's being passive. Come to tell you, I've been looking forward for 2 or 3 weeks to come and tell you as it relates to dealing with waiting problems. We can wait, we can endure, and we can get through if we'll just consider Jesus. As we consider Jesus, now watch this. Let us bring the future into the present. Maybe I should have made that the first one. Let us consider bringing what? The future where? Into the present. Let us consider bringing the future into the present. Here's what I mean by this. If we would know what the future held, we could better handle the but we often cannot handle the present because we are dealing with the present and haunted by the past. I was riding up to my house just yesterday or day before. I'm less than a half a mile in my car, and there was some music playing, and it was causing me to meditate. And the choir said something that caused me to have this thought that what often weighs you and me down is a funny thing. Listen, we will say the past is gone. Get over it. But you know the problem with that is? The past is gone, but it reaches into the present. What happened yesterday is holding us down today. It is the past, but it haunts the present. But if we'll bring the future into the present, we'll be better able to handle the present. Let me show you what I mean. You see, if we can look into the future, we'll see that the future illuminates dark places. illuminates. What is that? Light. The future lights up dark places in your present life. Somebody might say it's dark. Dark in my life, dark in my house, dark in my church, dark on my job, dark in my group. Yeah, but the future can light it up. Future can stop anxiety. You ever couldn't eat because you were worried about tomorrow? Yes, sir. But if you just knew that the Lord was going to take care, if you knew how the Lord was going to take care of tomorrow, you could eat today. The future minimizes sorrow. Well, now that we've lost our family member, what are we going to do? Then you come to find out that what old folks say is true. He's a mother when your mother's gone. Is that true? There ought to be somebody here that knows that. Yeah. It looks dark right now, but if you just see the future will make crooked things straight and rough places smooth. If you could just bring the future into the present. Weary in the mind. Interesting. In Hebrews 12, he says in verse 3, consider him who endured such opposition from sinners. Now wait a minute, y'all. Let me ask you all a question. Where do you get most of your opposition from? Church folk or street folk? Somebody said that real quick, church. Y'all have to think on it. This wasn't one of them Sunday night moments where y'all be looking like you're in pain when I ask you the question. You said church folk. Well, now I'm glad y'all said it, not me. So let me ask you this. So are you therefore saying there are more sinners in your periphery in the church than they are saints? Come on with it. So would that mean that there's a lot of perpetrating going on in the church? And you can find out who the sinners are based on where your help comes from? Oh, listen. I read somewhere last week or week before where someone said something similar to this, that people from hell cannot, that people cannot help but act like the citizenry from where they're from. Now what that means is, if you're from heaven, you display peace. But if you're from down below, you display hate. And we can tell where people are from by the way they display their citizenry. Have mercy, Lord. So he says that the Lord caught all kind of hell from sinners. Then it says to us, so that you will not grow weary. One version says, in the mind, and lose heart. Consider. So that you will not grow weary in the mind and lose heart. Consider. Jesus. Now, I just want to tell you about losing mind. Losing the mind, becoming weary. First of all, we ought not grow weary because the book says we have not lost no belief. That's good news. In other words, it's saying to us, if you have not suffered like Jesus has suffered, don't grow weary and don't lose your mind. Because we have not suffered like he has suffered. Unless we stay close to the word, we're still going to lose our mind. In order to walk like a saint walks, if you're a real saint, you got to stay close to the Word. But if we come to the Word and get close to Jesus, we'll find encouragement. Finally, consider Jesus as you bear your cross and you're heavy laden by your burdens. This word consider means the following. It means compare, count it up, weigh it in the balances. When you put what you're going through next to Jesus, how do you come out? Right. Do you come out on top? Do you come out even, or do you come out below? Hey, if they lied on Jesus, they're going to lie on you. If they called Jesus a devil, they're going to call you. If they called Jesus illegitimate, if they called him a hypocrite, if they spit on him, if they slapped him, anybody ever been slapped for the cause? But you know, they arrested him, spit on him, slapped him, and put a crown on his head of thorns that drew blood from his head. And one of them slapped him, and after they blindfolded him and said, who slapped you this time? Since you know everything. Put him on trial. Told all kind of lies. Had so many lies come through, they couldn't get their lies together. They paid some, and they finally only had two that came close to telling the same story. They just gave up. Because they couldn't get their story together. Consider. Put your focus not on yourself, but on Jesus and his suffering. And compare it and weigh it against your own suffering. Light affliction, my brothers and sisters, is but for a moment. You can count on that. Here's one reason you can count on that. You and I can't handle much. Let me see if I got just one witness in here. Have you ever gone through a storm and felt like you were catching hell? And look, and the problem is, and it's not like it's the first storm we've been through, but every time we go through it, it's like it's all brand new. Sometimes the Lord will leave you in the storm long enough till your faith catch on. And then he's so good that he brings you out of the storm. The next time you go back in the storm, we've been on such an easy street, we can't find our faith. And we got to start the process all back over because we shouldn't have left there in the first place. Child, you knew trouble was coming back, didn't you? Now I'm catching hell. Some hell I'm catching is not because of the devil, but because I ain't been on my job. In other words, some hell I'm catching because I'm weaker than what I ought to be. Because I haven't been walking with God like I ought to walk. So when I need him, I don't know how to connect with him, how to find him. And so I'm catching some stuff, and I'm not covered by some stuff that I otherwise would have been covered by, but I got out of place. Start walking with the world again when I should have stayed with the man who stayed with me. I was talking to Brother Cole this morning. I mean, you know, he's been going through it. But he's been bearing it like a champ. And he says stuff that just amazes some of us. And I looked at, and there's a time that Brother Griffin and Bishop and I have gone to his house, not just in the rain, but the flat-foot stone. We showed up at his house one night at 10 o'clock at night in the storm. And he was amazing. Y'all come out here in the storm, not just in the storm to get me. And he didn't want to come to church. Now he's sick and he's at everything. And yet his talk is more positive than ever. And I looked at it, I said, wait, I need you to tell me something. This just is more, I need you to tell me something. How in the world can you talk like you talk now when we used to come and try to get you and you still wouldn't come? He said, I don't know. He said, but I tell you this. He told me something about what the Lord was doing with him And then we started talking about y'all. He said, don't worry about y'all. He said, y'all gonna get it. Don't worry about them, Pastor. They gonna get it. And they gonna get it. He said, oh yeah. He said, when the Lord started putting stuff in their life, they gonna get it. So one more, what he told me, just get out the way and let y'all have it. The Lord knows how to bring you home, bring you in, change your attitude, cause you to quit being so negative, cause you to quit being late, cause you to start shouting when you want to act like you don't know it. You'll change the code. Consider. Jesus endured so much more than you and I will ever have to endure. Praise the Lord. So when the load gets heavy this week, when it seems that you're all by yourself, when you've grown tired of telling folk what's right because they persecute you, they don't want to say nothing else, consider Jesus. When folk frown on you for telling the truth, consider Jesus. Yes. When you get in trouble for standing up for what's right, consider Jesus. When your family doesn't want to hear you, it looks like they don't even have much respect for you, consider Jesus. Jesus, I said, endured more than we'll ever have to endure. There's nothing that takes the poisonous sting and irritation out of our earthly sorrows like remembering the man of sorrows who was acquainted with grief. Can I grumble when I think about him? Isn't that good news? I mean, if your mind is as negative can be, when that question comes up, it'll fit you in a heartbeat. No matter how bad you feel it is, but can we grumble when we think about him? Yeah. Can I moan or can I moan for my sorrows when I remember his? Should we magnify our grief, but measure them rather by the size of Jesus's, and yet still remain impatient? But I tell you, but we should do better, but think on him, and patience will begin to have its perfect work in us. If you didn't get that, what I'm saying is, if we think on the Lord, our patience will get a little bit longer. I was riding back to Gulfport with Pastor John W. Williams, who did Galilee's revival, and we were around Minge Avenue, and we were talking about race relationships. He said to me, almost out of the blue, he had a brother-in-law who went to prison for 15 or 20 years, all because a white woman said that he came on to her. A married man had to leave his wife and leave his family because supposedly somebody lied on him and it cost him 15 to 20 years of his life. Yet it amazes me among church folk. We start talking about things like that and how white folk have treated us in the past, and then folk want to say I'm prejudiced. Yet I see more cheese-eating black folk today than I ever seen in my life. Seeing black folk. We got some empty pews in here today because there's some black folk ought to be in some of our pews filling up white folk pews. And I would have no problem with black folk going to white folk churches if white folk would go on to black churches. But y'all know they ain't coming to our church. Here he is. We got one of the best presidents, even though he seemed to be from here, we got one of the best presidents ever been in America. And no matter what that man does, it ain't ever right for y'all's white folk. Everything he does is always his fault. Any good program he tried to bring out, they got something bad to say about it. Whatever's going on in the Middle East, it is not Bush's fault, it's Obama's fault. The economy is better than it's ever been. The stock market is higher than it's ever been. Gas prices are cheaper now than it's been in over 8 years. And everything going wrong is Obama's fault. black man. The white folk don't want to follow black folk nowhere. They'll let you come to their churches because they want your money. And they want you in their pews because you ain't in black pews. You ain't got no power. Y'all must be faking the funk because usually when I talk about them, y'all get real quiet. Let's just let them show up here. We have the best prayer meeting we have all week long. Lord, please don't let Rev say that. I'm just telling the truth. I'm just telling the truth. And it's the amazing thing. I talk about y'all every week, and I can't talk about them one week. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm not prejudiced because I tell the truth about white folk being wrong. Am I prejudiced against black folk because I talk about y'all being wrong? They're quiet now. That's normal. It ain't never changed nothing, but it's normal. So now really, who got the problem? I'm more concerned about them wanting to pay your co-workers more than they pay you, and you all not say nothing about that. Okay, fine. Go on home and let them cheat you back. You happy? I love it. Well, they call me about issues now when it comes to the white folk. I don't even return the calls. Y'all ain't never interested in what I got to say. You just want me to be the first one to get shot. Anytime you need somebody to say something, all other black preachers scared to say, let's call Davis, because y'all know he might get it. He crazy enough to say it. Everybody else can go home happy. Preachers don't like me, members don't like me, who don't like, you know. Thank God Jesus like me. Yeah. Y'all don't even want me to have an anniversary no more in my own church. But the amazing thing about anniversary is I just got on the phone with a preacher, got 3 churches, and every one of these churches give me an anniversary. Every 2 years they give me a car, and they have an anniversary all month long. Y'all don't meet here one day. But my dad made mention of the day that some churches give the pastor an anniversary all year. They take one Sunday a month. Y'all don't meet here one day. Yet the Lord used me to start this church. That's just how low down you Negroes are. I ain't telling you this because I'm mad. I'm just trying to teach you something. You got a Valentine every year. If I can't pass the anniversary once a year. I ain't begging you for nothing. And I ain't broke. So if you don't want me to have it, it's fine. I'm just trying to help you. You understand? One of the reasons there's pastor's anniversary because pastors make sacrifices all year long. If it wasn't for me and how I handled this business, this church's business, y'all either wouldn't be in this building or you'd still be paying for the pews you sitting in. But when we came in here, $29,000, we wrote a check for these pews because I handled the business right. I sacrificed and I paid many expenses of this church out of my pocket. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, when you sow, you one day ought to reap. But now me and the Lord been so good to y'all, y'all don't want me to have nothing. But I can tell you this, you can forget that one. I'm going to have something whether you want me to have something or not. It don't make no difference what you think, because the same God that fed me on the Sister Rich's tree when I didn't have a church 3 times what I got when I had a church is still taking care of me now. And while some of y'all don't want him to, you're the one going home broke. And then when you need something, you want to call the Negro, you don't want to have nothing. That's an anniversary sermon for you right there. Sometimes folks don't know no better because it's your perspective, and sometimes it's just because you're being black. What does that say about a church will give that pastor anniversary 1 week out of every month, and mine don't want me to have one day? And will give more toward the building than you give toward me. And I ain't got nothing to do with this sermon. But it just came up and looked like the Holy Ghost said, it'll fit here right real good right here. Yeah, did it fit real good right there? I think y'all gonna remember that, ain't you? Let me say one more time, I don't care if you give me a dime. Matter of fact, you want the dime back you gave me, I'm glad to get back to you and I'll hook it next week. But I I ain't going to have one bill missing because you don't want me to have nothing. As a matter of fact, you don't want to pay me today, go ahead on, keep it, but my bills will be paid because I ain't broke. Thank you, Jesus. The Lord take care of me. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Yeah. So Pastor Williams and I were talking about this thing. I just had 2 quick sermons. We're talking about I sneak one in on y'all on the white folk. Sneak another one in on hit you again. They tell me that fight the other night was too short, so I figured I'd just extend it a bit. Hit one on the white folk. Hit one down the bird. I ain't got TKO the first time, bitch, but I tried again. But when Robert said to me about his brother-in-law, let me tell y'all, I said, consider, I'm driving, and the Lord blessed me. I said to him, Reverend, I ain't mad no more. And I feel better when folk lie on me. Come on. Sometimes we feel bad when we don't consider what's happening to other folk. But here's a man who lost 15 to 20 years for one lie. But Matthew 5 says, shout when folk lie on you. Come on. And the reason they lie on you is because you're working for Jesus. Now, it didn't say shout when folk lie on you. It says, but shout when they lie on you, and the reason they lie is because of who you're working for. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you? I got 3 scriptures for you. I'm going to leave you alone. In Matthew 10:22, this is a very good teaching moment. Because you see, there's a phrase that we say that's not biblical. And folk got it from the Bible and made it into a verse. That's why it says a good teaching moment. Many of you have heard this said. I want to see how many of you have heard this before, because it's amazing stuff folk don't know in the church no more. There's a phrase that says, the race is not given to the swift nor, you know what I'm saying? Ain't but about 2 or 3 folk know the Bible no more. Or the strong. But unto him that endureth to the end. How many of y'all heard it? But that ain't Bible. It's Bible, but it's not a verse. It comes from 2 verses. It comes from Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 9. It says, the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong. But the 9th verse ends this way. But time and chance happeneth to us all. You don't ever hear that part. But then what you hear black folks say when they get real good, I mean preachers preaching. Choirs put it in songs and put it on a CD. And we get up and testify in the church and say amen. The New Testament part says, but he who endures to the end shall be saved. So what I'm trying to tell you is, somebody took the first part of the Old Testament verse. Somebody took the end of a New Testament verse. And black folk being black folk, we made it up and put it in the Bible. Ain't nobody ever told us where we could find it in the Bible. So Matthew 10:22 is important today as we consider. Because it says, and you will be hated by all for my name's sake. That is, if you're walking right for the Lord. But here's the good news, Jesus says. But he who endures to the end will be saved. Do you see it there? Matthew 10, verse 22. And then in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 and 11, Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 and 11. We need to consider this. Paul says, as he ends his writing to the church of Ephesus, finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power, not of your might, but of his might. Hallelujah. Consider that. Consider what? Be strong where? In the Lord. And where else? In the power of his might. And then he says, that's verse 10, verse 11. Now once you're strong in the Lord, now you are able to handle your own. And what is on? Put on the whole armor of God. Why? That you may be able to stand against the mess that the devil's going to throw at you. And if you check your record, I don't have to look at your record. I already know what it is. You catching more junk since you've been walking with Jesus than when you were hanging out in the clubs. Finally, in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. For this is commendable. What is commendable? If because of conscience towards God, one endures grief, and one endures suffering wrongly. Wait a minute. What are you saying, Peter? Peter says, I want you to consider that if you are suffering for the wrong, and if you are having to endure grief, all grief doesn't come because you did wrong. All grief doesn't come because it's just life. Some grief comes because you do what's right. That is when you're walking with the Lord. But you got to be careful right there. You got to be careful right there because you see what's happening is the devil is trying to make you faint. The devil is trying to make you quit. The devil is trying to make you quit praying. The devil is trying to make you lose your faith. The devil is trying to make you walk away from the church. The devil is trying to get you off of your ministry. The devil is trying to get you to quit being the leader. But you got to understand that stuff wouldn't be coming your way if you weren't who you are. So Paul says, Peter says, consider this. If you're catching hell on Jesus' behalf, that's a commendation. Peter says, consider this. If folk are standing against you, keep on walking on anyhow. And to hear the word of Jesus who said, beware when all men got something good to say about you. Because I don't know nobody that everybody likes. So ain't no need of losing no sleep at night, because ain't nothing new about you than anybody else. And you got to understand and know that if they didn't like Jesus, somebody ain't gonna like you. And if somebody talked about Jesus, you might as well go on to sleep, because they sure gonna talk about you. And if they didn't like the way Jesus looked, they sure don't like the way you look. And if they didn't like the way Jesus walked, somebody sure gonna talk about your walk. And if they didn't like the way Jesus taught and preached, they sure ain't gonna like the way you talk. So you might as well just stand up and remember and consider one thing. Does the Lord like me? Just consider one thing. Is the Lord satisfied with my prayer? Just consider one thing. Is the Lord happy with my work? Just consider one thing. Is the Lord saying to me, well done, thou good and faithful servant? Because it doesn't matter what other folks say. There's only one man's word that matters, and that's to make if you're on the Lord's side, keep on working. If you're on the Lord's side, keep on sweeping. If you're on the Lord's side, keep on cutting the grass. If you're on the Lord's side and won't nobody come to prayer meeting but you, keep on praying. And if the church sits there like they just left the club on Sunday morning, keep on singing while they're looking funny at you. Because when it's all said and done, it's not what folk think. It ain't but nobody but what the Lord say. Because he's the only somebody got a home waiting for you in New Jerusalem. Ain't that all right? Because you do know if it was left up to some folk, no matter how good you live, no matter how perfect you try to make up for your mistakes. I mean, is there anybody in here ain't never done nothing wrong? Is there anybody in here don't have nothing you're ashamed of? Is there anybody in here ain't never done anything you wish you hadn't done before? Is there anybody in here ain't ever said something you wish you could take it back? But I'm glad man ain't got a heaven to put you in. I'm glad we don't have to worry about what folks say about us, but make sure you're on the right side of the Lord God Almighty. And if you're on the Lord's side, he'll make your enemy be your footstool. He'll make your enemy feed you. He'll make your enemy leave you alone. He'll give you love in the presence of your enemies. And when it looks like you're on your way down and folk are laughing at you, he'll step in on time and build you up again. And folk wonder how you got over. How I got over. My soul look back and walk. Consider the Lord. But if you think about it, we always considering other folk. What folks say. What folks think. It really doesn't matter. What we really ought to be asking is, what does the Lord? Is that right? Hallelujah. Now, since everybody been through some hard times, you ought to be able to shout, clap, praise. You messed up a while ago, you got another chance. Hard time. I've had my share of hard time, but I'm still here. Come on now. You clap like you mean it. Trouble, so trouble, but I'm still here. Thank you, Lord. Bruises, I've taken my lumps and bruises, but I'm still here. Anybody here ever been lonely? Loneliness, I've had my share of loneliness, but I'm still here. Through it all, through it all. Come on now. The door's open. God, you know he did it for you. You know he did it. Oh, I made it. One more day. You know it wasn't nobody but the Lord that kept you. Yes, he did. Now, if you're walking with Jesus, you can sure enough testify to this. Lied on. So many times I've been lied on, but I'm still here. Lord have mercy. Burden, so many burdens. I'm still here. Thank you, Lord. Look, you just been through all that just this past week. Dark days. I've had some dark days, but I'm still here. I got one more thing to tell you. Anybody ever been disappointed? Disappointment. I've had so many disappointments, but I'm still here. Help me say we've been through it all. Y'all I'm still here today. He was always there, no matter what came my way. A very present help in a time of need. He's standing right there just to see